This video is presented to you by Design My Logos, and in today's tutorial, I'm not going to actually do a tutorial, I'm going to do an introduction. So let's get to it. So in today's video, I didn't want to show you any tutorial or anything because I feel like I've basically thrown you in the deep end by just showing you tutorials of how to make vectors, which was really bad of me actually. So I just wanted to do an introduction, and let's start with the program that I'm using to create vectors, for example. So I'm using Inkscape, so you can download it on Linux, Mac, and Windows. And if you want to download it, you go onto Safari or Google, and you just have to type in inkscape.org, and you just click on download right here, and it's actually pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Now there's a catch to it though. If you're on Mac, your Mac does not want to work with open source software, which Inkscape is, so you're also going to have to download Xquartz, which is also easy to download, and it's also found at xquartz.org. You have a quick download right here as well, and they're both safe and sound. Once you've downloaded Xquartz though, you have to restart your computer in order to work. And then like this, Inkscape will be able to work. So that's for Inkscape. Now, what are vectors? Vectors are basically engineering images or bitmap forms, and I think their characteristic is the fact that they don't really have any pixels, I guess, because if I make a black circle right here, for example, and I move it, unlike Paint, which is a Windows software, if you zoom in very far, you'll start seeing pixels, but while you do vectors on Inkscape, you don't really see pixels. Well, I don't see pixels anyway. If we zoom in even further. Now, if you do go on Google and Google Dictionary, you won't exactly find a specific meaning to vectors, apart from scientific stuff, which I'm not interested in anyway. Basically, it's just a form of image that you can design using softwares, I guess. I didn't really look into it much. I just know that they're called vectors. But what vectors are mainly used for these days is logos, whether it's your YouTube logo, you've got a company logo, just like Apple or things like that. You just create it through vectors. Because obviously all those logos, someone had to design them. So if we go here, Inkscape, that logo that you see right there, is basically a vector. It had to be designed and it had a designer. Same for that's a vector as well, so that's obviously a design inside a website that's been used by a company, inkscape.org, which is here. And that's basically, I mean, all of that you see, that's a vector, that's a vector as well, that heart's a vector, that notepad's a vector, that light bulb is a vector. Basically, everything is a vector apart from like those icons, maybe they're just made with another program. But what Inkscape allows you to do is basically create and design vectors professionally, because you're not just using very cheap or softwares to just put shapes together. You actually have to have a brain behind it and actually make it yourself, think how to design it, and that's why they give you all those tools, like you've got path here, got text, object, layer. And what's amazing about Inkscape is the fact that it's free actually. It's totally free, don't have to pay for anything, same for Xquartz. And like this, you can basically start a business if you wanted to be a graphic designer for free. And that's what I found out recently actually, and I just thought it was just so amazing that I just felt like sharing it with everyone. And that's basically where my YouTube channel comes from, Design Right, because I feel like I want to share this to everyone, and that's basically what I'm doing through YouTube, which is free. You don't need to go through any course that you have to pay or anything like that. So that's pretty much what Inkscape is and what vectors are. And you can pretty much design anything with Inkscape. I don't think there's any boundaries to that. You even do 3D models. And if you want to even see some of my templates or logos that I've designed, you can go onto Instagram and it's the same name, Design Right, and it's just awesome. I just felt like doing an introduction. Now about making videos. I'm hoping to make tutorials from simple or easy to hardest. So like this, you can actually follow step by step and then get to know the controls and things like that. So that'd be really cool. So like this, you get to improve on creating your own logos. Now I do have to say, if you're lazy and you're kind of a lazy person, don't lie to yourself. You kind of want to give up on creating logos because it's just, you gotta be thinking all the time, and there's so many things that you have to think about before creating a logo. So like that Pokeball, that was my first video that I did on this YouTube channel. Excuse me. You have to actually think about all the steps before you do it, if that makes sense. So you kind of have to have the brain for it. You can't just be anyone and do it. You kind of need to have this imagination coming through as well. You can't just look at something, think, oh yeah, I'll do that on Inkscape, and then go on to and go like, what on earth am I doing? I literally don't know what to do. But then, on the other hand, I would say that it's actually pretty simple to think about things. So like if you want a half a circle, for example, you just go, you go onto your circle, click using the select tool, and actually you need to go on circle tool, and all you need to do is just half it like this, and that's what you need to think about basically, if that makes sense. That's what I did when I did the guitar, the Pokeball, the clock. You actually need to think about the steps, each step that you have to do before actually doing it. Now, Inkscape, there's just one thing that's annoying with it. I guess it might even be any software. Is sometimes there's things that you do, and by actually deleting your software, Inkscape, and downloading it again, it might not undo itself. So like, for example, this is what happened to me once. I created a circle, the full circle. I went onto Paint Tool and took the opacity down, all the way down, like this, and used the select tool. Now, you can't see your circle because your opacity is right down. So now if I take other circles and start making circles, as you can see, all my circles are white. And at first I really didn't understand what it was. I was thinking like, what on earth is this? I can't create any circles or squares. Click cross, close without saving, go on to Inkscape again, wait for it to load. Take my circle tool again, and I'm like, this time it's going to make circles. What? My circle's not there. What on earth am I doing? So that's kind of the things you have to think about. If there's a problem, it's probably you that started it. So what happened, I accidentally went on the Paint tool again, and I realized, oh my opacity is all the way down. So let's put that back up. Go on to opacity and bring it all the way back up, and then all of a sudden I can do circles. It's like, this is amazing, what just happened there? I thought it was the actual software that just went wrong on me, but it wasn't. So yeah, it's a few things like that that kind of happened to me, and I was like, why is this not working? It's you. It's most likely you. So I think I've pretty much covered the whole of the introduction that I wanted to do today. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.